This is a story from my book, Twinkles from Heaven, The Mystical in the Mundane. It's called Just a Donation. These mink coats will look great on the homeless women, I thought. I dropped them off at Rachel's shelter in downtown San Diego. Mink lost its luster when animal rights spokespeople lifted our eyes to the cruelty inflicted when scalping mammals. Rightly so. Besides, who needs a thick fur coat in San Diego? People who sleep on concrete, that's who. They weren't my minks. Their owner, Mrs. Rose, had been dead for 3 years, and, being the compulsive shopper she was, left hundreds of coats, dresses, and clothes to distribute around town. Even from her grave, she was still giving to her community. I was her professional estate organizer, the one to mindfully repurpose her goods. It was my job to clear out the hoarder house. Chris, the executor of the estate, had said that she wanted everyone who received something from her mother who would appreciate them. So I set out to do just that. Most of it went to Salvation Army and Veterans Village, one because it was close by and the other because I used to work there and I know what they need. Craigslist did a good job of selling things locally, but some items were harder to find homes for. Warm winter clothes are not in demand in Southern California, not even in January. So I held on to the thick purple hat, mittens made of yarn, and the matching purple scarf for a long time, thinking they might make a fine holiday gift for one of my relatives in Chile, Minnesota. Then I realized that no one in my family wore purple. One day I got inspired to mail the winter set to my cousin Cheryl, who teaches 3rd grade. She could give it to one of her students who might have forgotten their hat or lost their mittens. I slipped them into a big manila envelope and sent it off. Just another item checked off my what to get rid of list. I didn't give it another thought. Several days later, I got a phone call from Cheryl. One of my students was in the national news last night. She sounded deeply concerned. I sat down on the now uncluttered couch to listen. My student's mother was beaten by her boyfriend so bad that she had to go into the hospital. Then her mother's boyfriend was shot and killed by police. Their little girl is in my class. Her name is Ava. She's a little African-American girl, very thin and shy. Oh my God. My heart lurched. That poor little girl and the terrible trauma she must be going through. I bet she's in total shock. The old school social worker in me was filled with compassion after years of working with battered women, children, and abused teens. You know those mittens, half, and scarf you sent me? Yeah. Well, we had a field trip to the Minnesota Zoo yesterday. The whole class went. Ava came to school without any gloves or hat. I gulped. I knew what was coming. I could hardly believe what she was about to tell me. I got a shiver up my spine and my body buzzed. She wore your purple hat and the mittens that fit her. And the scarf wrapped around her neck and face. They kept her warm because it was below freezing out. My heart melted. It's melting now. I imagined the softness and comfort of the thick yarn that might have given a little girl in anguish something warm and pretty to wear. I imagined her being sent to school from foster care or a worried relative, to go with her classmates to be distracted by zoo animals, and the kindness of her teacher who took the time to wrap her up like royalty. I sat stunned on the sofa, unable to say anything but, wow. I had held on to those things for so long. When I finally let them go, it was the exact right time. I bet she looked amazing in purple, too. Oh, thank you. My name is Carolyn Janes. I'm the author of Sprinkles from Heaven, the Stories of Serendipity on Amazon, and I just finished completing Twinkles from Heaven, which I'm looking for a literary agent for, somebody who has contacts with inspirational book publishers. So if you know of anyone, please message me. Happy Easter 2017. Bye for now.